This is Lee Wilson at the Bluffton Arts and Seafood Festival on Calhoun Street. And Lee was just telling us about some of his acrylic work here. Lee, this big piece you've got here, what does it have a name?
It's called Smathers Before Dawn, Panorama Number 1. It's of a scene that from a photograph that I took in Key West, Florida, about 4 years ago. And I came down to the beach early before the sun came up because I wanted to experience what the beach was like during that time. And I took this picture of the sun getting ready to come up and silhouetting the palms in the foreground. And it just really was an inspirational moment when I was there, and I was the only one on the beach, and it was just a very peaceful moment for me. And so later this year, when I decided to paint from it, then I created this piece in 4 panels, and drizzled the paint in the top layers, and put sand and shells along this area here, along with the beach. And then whenever I started doing the drizzle work, I just kept building up this layer all at once. And normally it takes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour for paint to dry, where I'm just using painting in the sky. But this area here took over 4 days to dry because it's just so thick. And as it dries, it starts shrinking and coming in, and you can start seeing granules of sand that I put in there, and little pieces of shell and things like that. And you can zoom in and get closer if you want to. You can see the detail.
Well, the colors really do come right out and say, how do you do? Tell us about the one behind you there, the one with the bright turquoise and the aqua colors, and that's a totally different medium, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The paint is the same, but instead of painting on canvas, I'm painting on a 1/4-inch thick acrylic plate. And I paint the background on the opposite side, and then let it dry, turn it over, and paint the foreground of clouds in the beach area on this side. So you can see a little shadow that's created because you're getting a dimensional effect from the layers. And this piece is called Essence of Tropical Beach Panorama. And I wanted to be able to incorporate sand and shells in the beach area here, but also to be able to create these layers on the glass plate, with acrylic plate, so that you get that dimensional effect. And these 2 pieces here are painted on glass. I can do the smaller ones on glass, but the larger ones I use the acrylic plate because it's less likely to shatter.
What do you have a name for your art? I mean, how do you describe it?
I look at it as a sort of a difference between abstract expressionism and impressionism. So you kind of put the 2 together and call it abstract impressionism.
Okay.
And I'm also influenced by Jackson Pollock, who did a lot of what they call the drizzle, the drip painting.
Drizzle.
I'm doing mine in a controlled way, so I'm creating representational style art, totally abstract art.
I see.
To blur the differences between abstract and representational.
Now, this is your first time to Bluffton and to the Arts Festival, and we've got a couple more over here. Just tell us about those, if you would.
Okay. These are 2 paintings that I created from photographs from traveling in Florida. This was from Captiva Island. We were sitting at a restaurant called the Muffy Duck, and the sun was setting in the west and creating this wonderful silhouette of the palm tree in the foreground. And just as the sun was getting ready to set, I took a photograph of it, which I've now painted from. And this is the first one that I created that has the silhouette features in the palms. They're silhouetted against either a sunset or a sunrise. And this piece was created from a photograph I took in Boca Grande last spring at a place called Boca Grande Resort. And it was just a set of these majestic palms that were really tall. And I looked up and took this photograph of them and decided that would be a wonderful painting. And what I do is I paint the bottom layers in a standard brush style, and then I go on top of that, painting flat, and drizzle the top layers on top of it. I want to create something that's very fresh and open and makes it feel like that you can see the sun and the wind blowing through the trees. And it tried to recreate the feeling that I felt when I was there.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Lee, I guess you'll be back next year to the festival. But between now and then, how will people find you? Where will they look for you?
Okay. Well, we have a website that's aunaturalimages.com, and we also have a Facebook page that's Facebook/auNatural.
Okay.
And then also, we also have a blog that my wife is working on that will be able to be accessed on our website also.
Okay.
Our schedule is also on our website.
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much for showing us your art. It's rather unusual, and that's the kind of thing you see at the Bluffton Arts and Seafood Festival here every October. So please come join us, and you'll meet artists like Lee. There were 100 exhibitors this year, and it's a fascinating event. Please come join us. This is Richard Kadish from Bluffton, South Carolina.